So, what if the most compelling argument for a creator wasn't hidden in some ancient text or a complex formula? What if it's right here, in the world all around you and the world inside of you? We're about to explore a line of reasoning that really only relies on two big pieces of evidence. We're going to treat this not as a matter of faith, but as a journey of inference.
You know, the source material for this kicks off with a really simple, almost disarming question. How do you know your parents exist? Seriously, you can't prove it with a math equation, can you? The real proof isn't some document. The most powerful evidence is you. Your existence is the clue.
And this simple example really gets to the heart of the matter. We accept our parents exist because, well, the alternative that we just popped into existence from nothing, it doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. So we don't need absolute mathematical proof, we make a logical inference. Now, we're going to apply that exact same way of thinking to a much, much bigger question.
Okay, so our investigation starts with the first set of clues. We're going to begin by looking at the external world. You know, the physical, observable stuff that surrounds us every single day.
The whole argument really hinges on this one key idea. If you look closely enough at the world, at nature, at biology, it seems to have these, quote, traces of being made. It kind of suggests that the complexity we see isn't just random chance, but that it points toward an intentional source.
Let's get specific. Think about a newborn baby. It's just incredible. The moment a child is born, it's a fully equipped little being. It instantly knows how to breathe air, it has a mouth to eat, eyes to see, ears to hear. It's this impossibly complex system that just works right out of the box.
And that is the crucial point here. I mean, sure, parents bring a child into the world, but they don't design all those intricate systems. They can't program a heart to start beating or tell the lungs how to breathe. The sheer level of sophistication, of design, seems way beyond human ability or just simple random chance.
So that's the evidence we can see and touch. But the second set of clues? Well, this requires us to shift our perspective. The argument asks us to look away from the physical world and turn inward to the unseen world of our own consciousness.
At the very core of this internal evidence is the idea of the soul, or tamashi as it's called in Japanese. Now, for the purpose of this argument, just think of it as that essential part of us, the part that feels love, that sees beauty, that feels guilt, and that connects with other people.
So the speaker brings up this fascinating thought experiment from their own life. Picture a room filled with 2,500 people. They all have different backgrounds, different jobs, different problems. And yet, when they hear something truly profound or deeply moving, they all feel that same swell of emotion at the same time. Why? How is that even possible? Now, let's take that idea and go global with it. Think about people who are completely separated by geography, by culture, by language. People who have absolutely no shared family history or life experiences. They are, for all intents and purposes, total strangers to one another.
And yet, despite all those massive differences, the argument is that something really profound connects them all. A universal truth, a beautiful song, a selfless act of kindness. These things can hit all of them in the same fundamental way. It's almost like there's a shared language of the soul.
The source gives this connection a really beautiful and powerful name, the golden thread. It's a metaphor for this invisible cord that runs through every single one of us, tying our deepest inner selves together, no matter how different we look on the outside.
All right, so we've got two sets of clues. The incredible design of the physical world and this shared golden thread in our inner world. Now let's see how the argument brings them both together. And this is where it all starts to click. On the outside, humanity is this amazing tapestry of diversity, right? Different bodies, different languages, different cultures. But on the inside, there's this incredible unity. We seem to share a fundamental understanding of right and wrong, a conscience.
And this isn't just some vague feeling, it shows up in really specific ways. We all seem to have this built-in ability to recognize beauty, to understand what's true, and to feel that pang of guilt when our conscience tells us we messed up. The source even points out that we see a little echo of this in the animal kingdom, you know, like when a dog hangs its head because it knows it did something wrong.
So this leads us to the biggest question of the entire argument. If our physical bodies show signs of a common, intricate design, and our inner selves, our souls, share a common moral and emotional language, then doesn't that kind of imply a single common source for both?
So, how does this all wrap up? Well, to really get the conclusion, we have to go back to that idea from the very beginning. This argument isn't built on absolute proof. It's built on logical inference.
So this is the path.
You start with the external evidence, the complexity that really suggests design. Then you add the internal evidence, that golden thread of shared consciousness. And when you combine those two observations, the most logical inference is a single origin point for both of them. And that common source, the argument concludes, is what many people call God.
Now, to be perfectly clear, this is not being presented as a scientific proof. From our limited human viewpoint, we can't definitively prove or define God. But just like with our parents, we can look at all the evidence we have and make the most logical guess. We can infer. We can surmise.
And ultimately, this isn't a conclusion that can be forced on anyone. The evidence can be laid out, the logic can be explained, but that final step, accepting the inference, that is a deeply personal choice. It's a decision that's made in the heart.
And so, the question is now turned back to you. When you really look at the traces of design in the world around you, and you think about that golden thread that seems to connect us all, what's the most logical inference you can make? And maybe more importantly, what does that inference mean for how you see the world?